Don't skip, my child, please. Person with praying hands. God message today. Jesus, amen. Stop for just a moment. Before you scroll away, I want you to imagine something. What if this video is not an accident? What if, in a world filled with millions of voices, God chose this exact moment to speak to your heart? And what if the message you are about to hear is the answer to the prayer you cried silently when no one was watching? So please, don't skip. And if this story touches your soul, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. You may think it's a small action, but it helps this message reach another person who is losing hope tonight. Now listen carefully. There was once a little boy named Daniel who lived in a small village. His family had very little. His father had passed away when he was young, and his mother worked day and night to provide food for them. Every night before sleeping, Daniel would kneel beside his bed and pray. Jesus, please don't forget me. He wasn't asking for toys. He wasn't asking for riches. He was asking for one thing: to know that God still saw him. At school, other children laughed at his old clothes. Some called him unlucky. Others told him that if God really loved him, his life would be better. Slowly, those words began to break his heart. One rainy afternoon, Daniel walked home with tears in his eyes. He looked toward the dark sky and whispered, "Lord, everyone else seems important. Maybe you have forgotten about me." The wind blew gently through the trees. There was no loud voice. No miracle. Only silence. But what Daniel did not know was that heaven had heard every word. Not far from his village lived an old gardener named Samuel. He was known as a kind man who spent most of his days caring for flowers that many people ignored. One day, Daniel passed by Samuel's garden. The old man smiled and handed him a tiny seed. "This seed looks small," Samuel said, "but one day it can become a strong tree." Daniel looked at the seed and asked, "How can something so small become something great?" Samuel looked into his eyes and answered, "Because God never judges by what people see. He sees what is hidden inside." Daniel took the seed home and planted it beside his tiny house. Every day he watered it. Every day he waited. But nothing happened. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Still nothing. One morning he became frustrated. "I knew it," he cried. "Some things are never meant to grow." His mother walked outside and gently placed her hand on his shoulder. "My son," she said, "the roots are growing where your eyes cannot see." Those words stayed with him. Years passed. Daniel grew older. Life did not become easier. His mother became sick. He worked long hours. Sometimes he prayed and felt that heaven was silent. He watched others succeed while his own dreams seemed to disappear. One night he sat beside the tree he had planted as a child. The tiny seed was no longer tiny. It had become the largest tree in the village. Birds built nests in its branches. Travelers rested in its shade. Children played beneath it. Daniel touched the trunk and suddenly remembered Samuel's words. God sees what is hidden inside. At that moment, an old traveler stopped under the tree. He looked tired and hungry. Daniel shared the little bread he had. The traveler smiled and said, "You remind me of someone I prayed to meet." Daniel was confused. The man continued, "Many years ago, I lost my faith. I asked God for a sign that kindness still existed. Today, through you, I found that sign." Daniel stood silently. He realized that while he had spent years asking God not to forget him, God had been using him to answer someone else's prayer. Sometimes we think miracles only happen when mountains move. But many times, the greatest miracle is that God changes a heart. Maybe you feel forgotten today. Maybe people have rejected you. Maybe your family does not understand you. Maybe you made mistakes and now believe God has turned his face away. But there is a story in the Bible about a shepherd boy named David. People overlooked him. Even his own family thought someone else was more important. Yet God chose him because he looked at the heart. The world sees your appearance. The world sees your failures. But God sees your purpose. There was another moment in Daniel's life that tested his faith. His mother became very weak. The doctor told him there was little hope. That night, Daniel sat outside under the great tree and cried harder than ever before. Jesus, if you are listening, don't skip my family. Please don't pass us by. He prayed until sunrise. When morning came, nothing looked different. But when he entered the house, his mother smiled. She held his hand and said, "My son, last night I dreamed that Jesus was standing at the door." He said, "Tell Daniel I was never far away." Every tear he cried was counted. Every prayer he whispered was heard. Daniel broke down and wept. His mother did not become rich. Their struggles did not disappear overnight. But something changed forever. Fear left their hearts. Hope returned. And sometimes hope is the beginning of every miracle. Years later, Daniel became known throughout the region as a man who helped the lonely, fed the hungry, and encouraged the broken. People often asked him, "Why do you care so much about strangers?" He would smile and point to the giant tree. "Because once I thought God had forgotten me. Then I discovered He was growing something inside me that I couldn't see." My friend, maybe you clicked on this video because your heart is tired. Maybe you are fighting battles that nobody knows about. You smile in front of people but cry when you are alone. You wonder if your prayers are reaching heaven. Hear this message. God has not skipped your life. He has not abandoned your family. He has not forgotten your tears. The season of waiting is not the season of rejection. The seed buried in the ground looks dead, but it is preparing for new life. Your hidden roots are growing. Your story is still being written. And one day, the pain that almost destroyed you may become the testimony that saves someone else. So don't give up. Don't let fear tell you that you are alone. Don't let disappointment convince you that your future is over. Jesus still sees the person everyone else ignores. He still heals broken hearts. He still opens doors no one can close. And maybe, just maybe, this message was sent to remind you of that truth. If you believe God is working in your life, even when you cannot see it, write ***, Amen, *** in the comments. Like this video and subscribe to the channel so this message can reach another soul that needs hope tonight. And always remember, people may overlook you. The world may reject you. But God never skips His child. Amen.